The dragon follows the bear's footsteps, while the whole world is preoccupied with the war between Russia and Ukraine. China started its war with Taiwan on land and at sea. The planes flew over the sky for Taiwan, and the Beijing ships became close to it. As for the United States and the European Union, they do nothing. We are in the midst of a dangerous war. We do not know how far it will reach, given the world's preoccupation with Russia's war and its invasion of Ukraine. China opened the Taiwan file again. So what happens? It is the scenario that happened with Ukraine when Russia sent its forces to the border separating them, in order to invade it and strike the most sensitive areas in its cities and detonate the military areas. The same is happening with Taiwan, which China wants to control for more than 40 years. The question remains why China decided to surprise the world and decided to invade Taiwan at the present time. It seems that the two powers between Russia and China were planning to take this step together, but China waited for the reaction of the West, or in a more correct sense, the reaction in the camp of the enemies. After the violent statements from America and Britain, which were directed at Russia, and this was before its invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine was left alone in the face of a great power. So far, reactions have been limited to imposing sanctions on Moscow. But why does China want to invade Taiwan? There is a historical relationship between the two countries because they were basically one country until 1949, when the nationalists, led by Chiang Kai-shek, fled to the island of Taiwan to form a separate independent government after losing the civil war on the mainland to the communist Mao's Dong, and the land and sea sides claimed that they represented China. Despite this, the conflict between them raged for a period of 30 years. China kept bombing the mainland until 1992, when the two sides settled on the existence of one China, but disagreed over what that meant. And from then on a more distinct Taiwanese identity emerged, which sees that the island is an independent country in fact, and has a separate destiny from China. This is what China rejects, as it rejects that Taiwan is an independent country, and has independent rule without China. Of course, the United States was the first to support the independence of Taiwan, as it promised to provide it with arms to defend itself. But the position of defending Taiwan by the United States remains ambiguous so far, which is why Taiwan has so far not been able to officially declare its independence. At present, Beijing adopts the One China principle, which means the People's China rule over Taiwan. This confirms that Taiwan is an integral part of the People's Republic of China until it is one day reunited with the mainland. This was one of the most important reasons for China to invade and impose control over Taiwan, and Beijing has also increased military, diplomatic and economic pressures since Tse In-wang was elected president of Taiwan since 2016. The president considers that the island is already independent and not part of China. It was not China's first precedent. For 40 years, Taiwan received major threats from Beijing. The most recent was what happened in conjunction with the Ukraine crisis, when China sent 9 aircraft to the air defense zone in Thailand, which are reconnaissance planes. China was not satisfied with sending reconnaissance planes only, as its warships arrived in Taiwanese waters. It wants to control the situation on land and at sea. In the statements of the Taiwanese defense minister, he said that tension with China has reached its highest level in 4 decades.
It is a threat, and it's very threatening.
He warned that Beijing would be able to completely invade the island of Taiwan in 2025. It seems that Chinese President Xi Jinping and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin have a nostalgia for the glorious past in justifying their actions in the region.